On to Bitcoin. We got to talk Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin had this dump last night, tremendous drop. The first thing that I thought about is, wow, Bitcoin's market cap is approaching $1 trillion again. How does the SEC, looking to approve a spot ETF, like it when it drops from 44,000 down to almost 40,000 in a matter of minutes? Because that would be the equivalent of something like Microsoft or, Meta or something like that, basically having a flash crash. And that is dangerous. So, again, we did see this big drop. Now, again, if you've been following what we've been talking about, we've talked about how price can still go up maybe as high as 48 to 50,000, but price is getting overdone. And again, I've continued to say that, hey, I'm inching in shorts here. Even if it goes up to 48, I'm just slowly inching in shorts. And I want to show you this, guys, because this is actually a game changer for me when it comes to the charts. So first off, here's your daily chart of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, again, it's off of its lows, but look at the move up. Look at the consolidation. So this is the first negative thing I've seen on Bitcoin in a while, frankly. You had bullish consolidation here, okay, and then this. That kills the bullish consolidation. You can't claim this is a bull flag anymore. Once you have that down move, and we covered this in last week's game plans about the angles of flags, you need a 90 to 45 degree angle. Once it gets less than 90 degrees, like, or I should say 45 degrees, once it's 35 or 30 or 20 degrees, it's no longer a high opportunity, high data driven trade. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing I want to point out is the alts have incredible negative divergences. When I was looking at divergences on the RSI this weekend, I was floored. I literally was floored by the negative divergences, and it made me honestly think, the alts have been running incredibly, but the negative divergences have me saying, holy cow, what the heck is going on? And I want to show you this on a chart like Solana, right? So I know, listen, and I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people out there, but the point is that I'm here to point out reality, and it doesn't mean that this is going to play out. It could totally ignore it, but my point is it's important to know the possibilities, right? Good investors know the possibilities. Then you make your decision, whatever it may be. So what I want to show you here is the divergence that has occurred in the chart of Solana. So when we look at Solana here, we can clearly see that here you had a high and here was a higher high. So that implies that the RSI should have made a high here and it should have made a higher high here. If we look down here and we draw that in, we see a high here on the RSI and a huge negative divergence on the RSI to the downside. See how this line is sloping down while this is sloping up. Now, the kicker is this, guys, is that when you see negative divergences, it basically tells you that small money continues to buy, but big money continues to unload. And so that's why I pay attention to the RSI negative divergences, is because it literally gives you a heads up that there's something not quite right, that at some point, and this is the tricky thing with RSI divergences, you don't really have an exact time frame. That's where you have to go to like the intraday charts or the daily charts to find that topping tail or that trend line or whatever it may be. But the RSI divergences tells you something is brewing, something is coming. Okay, so all of a sudden you could see here we have the negative divergence, and then what happened last night? Boom, right to the downside, where this thing literally fell, about $5 to $6, almost 10% on that chart. Now, if we go to some of these other altcoins, they're much the same, right? So if we look at a Cardano, all right, take a look at Cardano here if we go to this, and we can generally see that you're still in that same position where you have a negative or equal divergence. Here in this case, it's about an equal divergence, same height here. Oh, no, check that. My apologies. It's actually much, much lower here. Oh, check that. There we go. So here's your flatlining divergence. If we go right here, is equal over here. Yet look at how much price has gone up instead. And again, this is more of a flat divergence. But again, it's much more dramatic there. I'd say Solana is the most impressive one of them all.
Hey, crypto voyagers, welcome back to Crypto Street, and it's time for another roller coaster of crypto updates. Bitcoin's taking a nosedive and Uncle Sam's got his eyes on its vulnerabilities. Stick around for the deets, smash that like button, and let's dive into the crypto whirlwind. Bitcoin's gone on a roller coaster ride, plunging below the $41,000 mark. And guess what? Peter Schiff is in the house comparing it to an Eagles beatdown. Ouch. The signs were there. On-chain analysis hinted at overheating after that rally above $40,000. Mara Pool, a big fish in Bitcoin mining, decided to cash in, playing it safe. But fear not. Christopher Inks, our crypto fortune teller, sees a silver lining. The altcoin market's dip, just a short-term thing. Bitcoin is finding its footing, aiming for that R5 pivot. Will it soar again? Keep those crypto fingers crossed. Bitcoin is taking a hit, dropping sharply under $43,000 at the start of the week in Asia. The crypto realm's doing the cha-cha, and we're here to catch every move. What's causing this drop? Stay tuned for more crypto tea on this wild ride. Now Crypto Guardians, the US is on high alert. The National Vulnerability Database is waving a red flag about Bitcoin's vulnerability related to the Ordinals protocol. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? This flaw could mess with Bitcoin's performance and transaction fees, thanks to potential data spamming on the blockchain. Luke Dasher, our Bitcoin superhero, is working on patches, but the drama's not over. Uncle Sam is keeping a close watch, signaling a shift towards stronger crypto security. It's not just a glitch, it's a call to evolve and improve the crypto game. Keep those crypto shields up. And there you have it, Crypto Navigators. Bitcoin's wild slide, a mysterious drop under $43,000, and Uncle Sam putting on the crypto security cape. What's your take on these crypto twists? Now let's continue our enlightening discussion with Gareth Soloway.
If we look at other ones, let's look at a few others in the altcoin market. If we take a look here, here's a good example again on Rune. Take a look at this. Here you have, again, an example of where are your high pivots, right? So if we look at here, right here was a high. Here was a high on the divergence. If you look at this, that's a higher high. But look, all the way down here, you're now lower. So higher and lower. And again, I'm only pointing this out because, again, it's just information, right? You know, my goal here is to show you information and give you probabilities and data and all that stuff. And that's an interesting thing. And you're seeing this more and more in the altcoins. Bitcoin, let me see if it actually shows up on Bitcoin as well here, because that would be fascinating if it did. I'm not sure if it does. Wow, the answer is yes, it does on Bitcoin. Wow. All right, so let me show you guys this. So last one I'll do, and then we're going to move on to gold, natural gas, and oil. But very clearly here, look at this. All right, here's a high on Bitcoin, and look at the RSI. Here's a higher high on Bitcoin, all right? Here's a lower RSI. Here's a way higher high on Bitcoin. I left those lines in there. Here, in fact, we'll move it around. So look at this trend line down. Look at the trend line to the upside. And again, negative divergences. And again, I guess what this tells me is that whether or not we get to 48,000 to 50,000, I'm not sure. I think that to me is my max upside. But it tells me that there's going to be a more impressive flush. We've already kind of gotten a little bit taste of this, but this is just, if these divergences are true, this is just the beginning of this. And I know it's not going to be popular out there, guys. I'm just giving you information. Do what you will with it. All right, next up, let's quickly touch base on gold. Gold is having a pullback here. Now, the key on gold is actually gold is into a major technical support. If you're someone who wants to swing trade gold, this would be the opportunity to start a position. The reason why I'm saying that is that we've gotten the rejection here, right? But look at the trend line we're right into. All right, in fact, I want to zoom out a little so you guys can see where this trend line comes from. So if we zoom out, all right, all you're going to do here, okay, there we go, is take this pivot high with this pivot high, and look, after the pierce, where are we? We're right back to that line. So again, gold looks like a buy here for a technical bounce, for at least a swing trade. The other thing to just point out here, and this is just something I saw this morning when I was doing some research, if we zoom out on the daily chart, right, and we look at, bear with me, maybe I have to go to the weekly chart. Okay, yeah, on the weekly chart. So here's your weekly chart of gold. Couple fascinating things about this. So number one, if we take this former high from 2011, so let's take a line right there. Let's punch it in and draw that line across, and we connect it to the high of 2020. Where does it go? Literally right up to the high that we hit up here, right? Pivot high, and pivot high. Pretty cool. And again, doesn't mean a whole lot, but to me, it just makes sense that gold stopped on a dime right there on that move. The other thing to kind of take a note of here is that if you look at this chart, right, we had this kind of flat top to it. And again, look at this. Big distance, shorter distance, shortest distance. All right, so let's look at over here. And then it broke out, by the way, right? Big distance, shorter distance, very short distance. So you see this pattern formation, and it's just kind of a little bit of an inkling into my guess is that this is what we're approaching right here on gold for the breakout. Again, big, smaller, smallest, big, smaller, smallest. At some point, will break to the upside on gold.
Presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy heavily criticized the lack of action of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and its chair, Gary Gensler, on the fraud cases in the crypto industry. Ramaswamy stated that regulations needed to catch up and that the existence of these cases was evidence that the current framework was not working. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has renewed its warning that investments in crypto assets can be exceptionally risky. The regulators stressed that crypto-related investments continue to be replete with fraud, including bogus coin offerings, Ponzi and pyramid schemes, and outright theft where the project promoter simply disappears with investors' money. That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.